Okay, let's just jump right in. When you hear the name Dostoyevsky, you probably picture some heavy, thousand-page classic that's a real chore to get through. But we're going to show you that the Brothers Karamazov is actually one of the most intense family dramas and timeless whodunits you'll ever come across. It's so much more than a book. It's a murder investigation into the human soul itself. So every good murder mystery needs a victim, right? Well, meet Fyodor Pavlovitch Karamazov. And let me tell you, this guy is something else. He's not just a bad dude. He's a depraved, cruel, slobbering buffoon who seems to live for the sole purpose of humiliating everyone around him. He is so completely and utterly awful that when he turns up dead, the real question isn't who done it, it's more like who wouldn't do it. But here's the thing. This isn't just a simple crime story. The murder of this horrible man kicks off one of the deepest, most powerful explorations of faith, doubt, and good and evil ever put to paper. It sucks his entire family, and honestly, it sucks us, right into the storm of questions that have no easy answers.
The setup is just brilliant in its simplicity. Fyodor Karamazov is found in his home, skull crushed. And who are the only people with a real, powerful motive to see him gone? His own 3 sons. And believe me, every single one of them had a reason.
All right, so let's meet our suspects. But this isn't your typical police lineup. No, this is more like a lineup of entire worldviews. Each of the 3 Karamazov brothers is a whole universe of ideas, a different way of looking at the world, and any one of them could be a killer. So let's break it down really quick. First, you've got Dmitri, the wild one, all passion and impulse. Then there's Ivan, the cold, brilliant intellectual, the total skeptic. And finally, you have Alyosha, the gentle soul, the believer, trying to be good in a world of chaos. The sinner, the skeptic, and the saint. What a lineup, right? First up, suspect number 1, Dmitri. And honestly, if this were a modern cop show, the case would be closed in 10 minutes. This guy is a walking powder keg. He's constantly fighting with his dad over money and, get this, they're both desperately in love with the same woman. He's literally going around town telling anyone who will listen that he's going to kill his old man. It doesn't get more obvious than that. And just listen to this. This quote says it all, doesn't it? He's so volatile, he's not even sure himself what he's capable of. He's walking this tightrope between honor and just total chaos, battling that wild Karamazov blood in his veins. It's not a cold-blooded plan, it's just this raw, explosive feeling that even scares him. All right, now let's talk about Ivan. And he is a whole different ballgame. Forget about fights over money or women. Ivan's battle with his father is happening entirely in his head. He's this tortured genius who looks at the world, sees all the suffering, and just can't stomach it. And that pain leads him down a path to a very dark, very powerful idea. An idea that might just be dangerous enough to kill.
This right here, this is the absolute key to understanding Ivan. It's not about the cash. He is wrestling with the biggest questions there are. He's haunted, you know? He just cannot reconcile the idea of a good, loving God with a world where innocent children suffer horribly. That intellectual agony, well, that's the real engine driving this whole story forward.
And this is where we get to the real mystery of the book. Because the murder of Fyodor Karamazov isn't just about a physical crime. It's like the bloody, violent punctuation mark at the end of a philosophical argument that has been tearing this family apart from the inside. So, the police find a weapon at the scene, right? A big, heavy brass pestle. Looks like an open and shut case. But Dostoyevsky is basically waving his hands, telling us, hey, don't look at that. That's a distraction. The true murder weapon, well, it was something far more subtle and far, far more dangerous.
Yeah, what if the murder weapon was an idea? That's the terrifying question at the absolute heart of this book. Can a thought, a philosophy, be more deadly than a chunk of brass? Can you actually kill someone with an idea? Dostoyevsky seems to think you can, and he makes a scarily good case for it.
So here's Ivan's big theory in a nutshell. He basically argues that if you take God and the afterlife out of the equation, what's left? All our concepts of morality, virtue, sin, they just go up in smoke. All that's left is your will against everyone else's. And that leads to his famous, chilling conclusion. If there is no God, then everything is lawful. Everything, even murdering your own father. So you've got these two tectonic plates grinding against each other right inside this one family. On one side, you have Ivan's world of radical freedom, where crime isn't just possible, it's logical. And on the other side, you have Alyosha's world of radical connection, which says that we are all responsible for each other, for everything, no exceptions. So all of this comes to a head in the novel's incredible courtroom scene. But you have to understand, the legal trial we're watching, it's just a stage. What's really on trial here is something much bigger, the soul of a nation, and maybe, just maybe, our own souls too. And the verdict comes in, guilty. Despite the shaky evidence and all the complex psychology, the jury convicts Dmitri. His character, his public threats, the circumstantial evidence, it was enough. He's sentenced to 20 years of hard labor in Siberia.
But the second that gavel hits the wood, Dostoyevsky hits us with the real question. Okay, the law has its man. The court is satisfied. But is that the truth? Is that justice? Who is morally on the hook for this murder? And this is where the novel just masterfully weaves this giant web of guilt, and pretty much everyone gets caught in it. So who's really guilty? The person who actually swung the weapon? Or how about Ivan, the one who loaded the philosophical gun and said it was okay to fire? What about Alyosha, the good brother, who saw all this darkness coming but couldn't stop it? Or heck, what about the rest of us, the society that creates men like Fyodor in the first place?
And in the end, that's what this book is all about. It's not just about some messed up family from the 19th century. It takes their very specific, very personal struggles and turns them into these huge, timeless questions that every single one of us has to wrestle with.
Dostoyevsky's great insight is that in a way, we are all Karamazovs. We all have that passionate, impulsive side of Dmitri. We all have that cold, doubting, analytical reason of Ivan. And hopefully we all have that spiritual longing of Alyosha. Our own hearts and minds are the battlefield where these forces fight it out every single day.
This incredible quote comes from a famous story within a story that Ivan tells, and it just nails the central struggle of the entire book. It's basically saying that just being alive, just breathing in and out, that's not enough for people. We are creatures who desperately need meaning. We need a why, a reason to put up with all the suffering in the world.
And so this is where the book leaves us, with one final, chilling question that Ivan asks himself and that Dostoyevsky asks you directly. If everything you were ever taught to believe about right and wrong, about God, about justice, if all of it just vanished tomorrow, what would stop you? What would I truly be capable of? That is the Karamazov question.